events destination.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Real stories, powerful insights, and weekly inspiration to help you rise above life's challenges. Let's lift off with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wow. It is 2026, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the new year. You know, every time I hear 2026, and this just kind of takes you all on a little personal journey for me, it takes me back to Ruth Hill Elementary here in Lincoln. And I walked into the kindergarten room as I was taking my youngest daughter, Michaela. Me and my wife were taking her in for kindergarten orientation. And I saw on the screen, the overhead, it said class of 2026. And this was like many, many years ago. And I was like, I don't even know am I going to be alive in 2026? It was kind of weird. Like, I was just like, that's crazy, 2026. But now it's here. And she, in fact, is a senior this year and will graduate. So welcome to 2026, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Lawrence Chatters, and I have an absolute delight for you today. We're going to hear from a guy who is just doing amazing things in the community, has done amazing things in the community over the course of his career, has a very unique story. And I'm super excited for you all to get to meet this gentleman today. So welcome to the show, Jake Hedden. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for the opportunity to come on and talk with you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you accepting the invitation. And shout out to Tom Jara, who got us connected.
What a dude.
Man, Tom is just like a very dynamic person, right? He's the connector. He knows a lot of people. And so
good. Anytime you have a conversation with him, it's like, oh, I know so-and-so. You need to meet so-and-so. And he makes it happen every time.
He makes it happen. He makes those connections. So thanks, Tom, for connecting us. He was on the show a few weeks back and just telling his story and talking about his journey, and what a unique journey. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jake on our show today. And he's going to share with us his story. And he has a unique one. And I'm excited to get to know more about it. And Jake, you know what I usually do on my show to start out is I ask people about their name. So where did the name Jake come from? And is it short for anything? And tell us a little bit about your name.
Yeah. So Jake, as far as I know, when mom and dad found out that they were having a boy, they knew it was going to be, I was going to be named Jake. So it is short for Jacob.
Okay.
But there's actually an interesting piece of this that actually confuses people a lot. So my legal name is R space Jacob. It's R Jacob. So middle name is Joseph, named after one of my grandfathers. And then my other grandfather was named Ralph. And my parents could not bring themselves to name me Ralph.
Okay.
So they just took that R, popped it on the front. And so legally I am R Jacob. It really threw the coaches down at Peru for a loop when they were calling for Jacob, and
they're like,
and I stepped forward.
Jacob?
Yep. So just Jake. Yeah.
Wow. So that's super cool. So the R is short for Ralph, but they didn't want to call you Ralph.
Yep.
And so they just put, and there's no period. It's just
R space Jacob. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's a great start to the story. So they knew that you were going to have a name that was going to be distinguished. And by the way, my middle name is Joseph as well. So that's super cool. Something in common. But, you know, we always start at the beginning of a story. And the beginning of a story for me, when we're talking to people like yourself who are so dynamic and you've had all these unique experiences over the course of your life, starts with your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so take us into your childhood, where you grew up, and just kind of paint a picture for us of what those early years were like for you.
Yeah, yeah. So growing up, we bounced around a lot. Childhood was not white picket fence and sunshines and rainbows all the time. Grew up pretty far below the poverty line. So we started out over in like the Beaver Crossing, Waco area. That's where my early memories are from. And then moved over to kind of bounce around to Lincoln for a little bit to be closer to mom's family, but then really kind of settled in Crete, Nebraska.
Okay.
So I was in Crete from kindergarten to about freshman year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Moved so many times.
In Crete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apartments, trailer parks, a house, few different spots. Sophomore year, we moved over to Wilbur, so just 7 miles down the road. Was there for my sophomore year, and then that summer we moved another 7 miles over to Dorchester, which is where I finished out high school and graduated. So I always tell people I did the Saline County Shuffle.
Gotcha.
for schooling. But when I think back to Crete, that's really where I kind of grew up and was mostly the childhood.
I see. So you talked about multiple moves. As you look back on it now, what was the reasoning behind those multiple moves?
Yeah. Poverty is expensive.
Yeah.
And so God bless my mom. She held it down with as far back as I remember, she's always had multiple jobs.
I see.
Dad wasn't really in the picture, kind of bounced in and out. So she was the sole breadwinner, provider. And so bills get expensive, and rent is tough. And so when you can't make rent, those eviction notices happen, and you got to find a new spot to land. And she always made sure that we found a spot.
Yeah.
We always had a roof over our head.
Okay.
Not everything was going on inside, right? So
yeah,
I remember times like boiling water to take a bath, but you knew once it hit a certain temperature, the city couldn't turn your gas off. So that's when we got to have hot water again.
Oh, wow.
So,
I see.
So bouncing around like that.
Yeah. So, as you're thinking about just kind of dealing with some of those things growing up, when you were experiencing it, was it just a way of life for you? Was that just the way things were? You didn't necessarily know that there were other people like your friends who had it different, or did you have kind of that social network of people that you could kind of go to their house and you saw, oh, things are different over here, things are different over there? Or how did you feel going through those things?
It's kind of a combination of both. When I was really young, so kindergarten, first, second grade, it was just, this is how we live.
That's how it is. Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
I really remember being like second grade, standing in line outside of Crete Elementary, and I had this new sweater that I was wearing, and one of my buddies, Thomas, was like, "Why do you smell like smoke?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?" He's like, "No, you smell like smoke." And I was like, "Oh, not everybody's parents smoke in the house. They don't just sit at the dining room table and smoke cigarettes." So that was the first kind of like, maybe things are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, start going to buddies' houses, and then you really see like, oh, the house is clean. Oh, the food in the cabinets, and just really starting to see what else was out there, but then really question like, what is normal?
I see. Yeah.
And you don't know what to make of it at the time. So
yeah.
So that second, third, fourth grade is when it really kind of hit me like, oh, I live a little bit differently than most of the people around me.
Yeah. That unique experience when, you first come in contact with people who are living differently from your family, from a socioeconomic perspective, and they just do things different, or you go there and it's like, oh, some people have their own room and I don't, right? Or some people have multiple types of cereal in the pantry, or
cereal
whatever.
Comes in a box.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
Right. It doesn't come in a bag, and these are the real characters, right?
Yes,
so, but it's just crazy how much of a perspective that brings you, and it really depends on how much access you have to those experiences that really gives you the perspective on how your life is. And it's interesting you bring up this concept of smoking in the house, right? And smaller places too, I would imagine, because they're apartments, they're trailers, and so everything smelled like smoke. As a matter of fact, you probably didn't even realize that anything that you had on was smelling like smoke because you were so used to the smoke smell. And and so I appreciate you talking to us a little bit about that. And to my listeners, I just want you to also be thinking about, like, when is the time that in your own life you came to that perspective and understanding that your upbringing was different, or perhaps things were different in your household, or, whether it be a different family dynamic. You go to your parents, your friend's house, and there's two parents in the household versus one, or there's a mixed family there and there's a grandmother living there, like all these things. We're just like, oh, things can be different. Right. And so you talked a little bit about Crete, being there in Crete. What was just the overall environment like in Crete back then? And give us the years that you were there so we can kind of fit ourselves into that historical context of what was going on in Nebraska at the time and how Crete may have been changing.
Yeah. So, Crete. So I was born 91.
Okay.
So Crete, let's see, kindergarten, I was 97. We still had half-day kindergarten then, Mrs. Aaron's. So 97 till, I don't know, 05.
Okay.
Crete was a lot different than what it is now.
Okay.
Much better food in Crete now than when I was a kid. But still like pretty, like there was some diversity there. So, so as I was getting older and I was in like enrichment classes, smart kid, and I did well in school. But then when I started to realize that, I don't fit into like the Lothrop Heights neighborhood up by the high school, my friend group really shifted. So pretty diverse friend group growing up. There was, it was like me, another white kid. Then we had our buddy Mike, who was Vietnamese.
Okay.
Johnny Leach. He's a musician here in town. He grew up with me.
Okay.
So black dude, we had Guatemalan dude, we had someone from Cuba.
Okay. Like, very diverse group.
So diverse. And so we all wanted to be professional skateboarders at that point. So we would run around town until the lights would, the street lights would come on, and then sometimes our parents would still have to come look for us. But we just kind of ran around town on our skateboards and our bikes, and it like there wasn't any real concern of danger. Like we never felt like we were gonna get into any issues like that. But definitely knucklehead issues. But
right. You knew where to get away from the cops if they came around and stuff. Right? Okay, so you weren't getting into that.
Find us. They knew where to find us. Yeah.
But you guys were a skateboard crew then, huh?
So, we thought we were.
Okay.
Spent a lot of summers just like on a skateboard and a bike.
Yep.
Go playing. We played pickup baseball a lot. There were enough of us that we'd go to Rotary Park and play baseball. And then inevitably there would be like a fist fight.
Right.
So
of course.
the game is over. And then we'd go to the pool for a couple hours. And then just do it all again at night. It was, yeah, it was cool. Like it was a nice, that's what felt normal.
Yeah.
Like when I realized like what's going on at home isn't normal.
Yeah.
That almost became the escape.
That makes sense.
To just go do whatever this normal is.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. And I think oftentimes when there are challenges at home, and there are spaces where young people can go to be around people where there is some stability, whether that be a friend group or even at someone else's house, right? We oftentimes notice that they do that more frequently, right? Yes. And it's just like, hey, if this is how I can get away from what's happening here, that's where I'm going to go and that's where I'm going to spend all my time. Yeah. And so, but something else you brought into the picture here was this idea of you doing really well in school and excelling. So tell us about that and just why you were so hungry for the learning back then and what that was like for you to be able to like start to explore outside of where you were also through the academic side of things.
Yeah. So as long as I can remember, my mom just always told me, like, how, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
And you get options. Mom always told me, like, you're going to college. And it was never like, what do you want to be? Well, I want to be this. Well, that's not college.
Right.
Like that they don't have a college degree. You're going to college.
I see.
So that was always pounded into my head. My grandma, the thing that she always said that just drove me nuts to a point, she always told me, you're a smart boy, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
So any issue I had, you're a smart boy, you'll figure it out. So I think that just really like pushed me
Mhm.
in school. Like, hey, everybody's telling me I'm smart. I
Right.
don't know any different, so I
Yeah.
guess I'm just going to be smart. Um, and I found that I really enjoyed English and reading and literature
Mhm.
again because I think it was you can escape to this
Yes.
other place that's not whatever is happening. Math and science, no, that was for the birds back then. I did not excel at that at all, but um, about second grade, I had the opportunity to join what they called the enrichment program, and
Okay.
so this was all the really intelligent kids.
Mhm.
And we're talking spelling bees, and then we would go. Um, and in like third grade, we learned how to play chess.
Okay.
Each year through the program, we would learn a different continent, and we would be able to place every country on there, and we would test out on it. So by third, fourth grade, as you know, we're playing chess. We can name all the countries on a map.
Yes.
We're competing in spelling bees. We're doing all of these other things, and so that enrichment, right,
Mhm.
also became that escape. So I'd get to leave class for an hour and a half, and go be with this group of kids
Yes.
that my peers who once were my friends when we were younger. Then we started to figure out, okay, we're different. Like now we're not, now we're kind of in the same room. We're doing the same thing. So it really became a driving force for me to continue to do well
I see.
because I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Like I got to be in that room. I got to be with those people because they're whatever their normal is what I want,
I see.
and I don't have that.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's very introspective of you to look back now and say there was something that you desired that they had that you felt you wanted, and your access to that was your keeping up intellectually.
mhm.
That is such a deep perspective. And also, it seems as though there must have been some pretty distinct differences from other viewpoints when it came to like the clothing you were wearing, the things that you were doing in your life and your family life comparative to those kids as well,
Oh, yeah.
right? And those things become more apparent when you're around them and everybody's like, so where's everybody going on vacation? And you're like, what?
What now? Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that's interesting because some people don't necessarily hit that distinction sometimes until they get to college, and
Right.
going to college in and of itself. And you'll talk more about this, I'm sure. When you get into college, that's one thing, but then dealing with all the issues that come with being in college with no money,
Yeah.
that's a different thing,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so, but it's interesting that started from you from a very young age, being in that enrichment program, talking about all the things that they were doing to really help you really become more creative, right?
Mhm.
Like expand your mind and really essentially increase the development of your brain from an
Mhm.
earlier age, right?
Yeah.
And you were ready for it and you really enjoyed it. And it
Yeah.
was an escape for you. What's interesting too, you mentioned is that a lot of your skateboard friends weren't necessarily in those classes, right? So they're like, you big nerd, right? Like,
Yeah.
what
Oh,
are you
yeah.
doing in these enrichment classes?
Yeah.
And of course, when we're younger, we kind of make fun of those things, but it's neat that you wanted to be a part of that. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It was a life-changing opportunity, and I didn't know it then. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
back then I thought it was like we don't do these things at home. They
Mhm.
must know that about me because the social worker involved in our life told them, or
Mhm.
somebody told them,
Yeah.
that, hey, this kid needs something more.
I see.
So now to like look back on it, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little bit different.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And we'll talk more about this too, but the industry that you've gone in, that you're in, and the area that you're in with the support that you provide, you recognize the importance of school
Yep.
and having access to people who care and people who can do, a better job of caring for young people in the school and figuring out what's going on in their life and connecting those dots. And
Right.
you would, certainly um, become well aware of that process and how important those people are in people's lives. When you're looking back now and you think about that enrichment program, you think about all the things that you were exposed to, that seems like it really continued to feed your desire to
Mhm.
become even more, intellectually adventurous, read more books, experience more things. They probably took you on some field trips, different things like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was the school field trips and the being able to just go to the library
Hmm.
in Crete. We would walk to the city library. I was always for like daycare. I was always at the community action,
I see.
which I didn't know what that was then. It was just daycare, but now
Right.
it, you know,
Yes.
now that I know what it is, a lot of those trips to like the library and just kind of like letting us loose to go find what you want to learn about.
Yes.
Or what I really appreciate looking back now at community action and some of those experiences, right? Some of these nicer daycares that maybe existed, they might have gone to the zoo or gone to wherever. Well, at the community action daycare, it was a bunch of college kids that are staying home for the summer that are maybe majoring in education that
Right.
got to work.
That's right.
So what was really awesome is a couple of our daycare teachers, both named Mandy, actually, they were friends with the football team. So back then, Doan was doing things, and so Goldie at Ramon Adams, Goldie, they were friends with him. So like the football guys would come down. We had this big field behind the daycare. It was Rotary Park. They would come down and hang out,
Nice.
and play football.
That's
and
awesome.
so for us, like those were our heroes
Yes.
at the time.
Yes.
So not the traditional field trips, but we'd go walk through the campus at Doan, or we would go to the pool or things like that. So
that's awesome. And interfacing with people who, again, we're in college, we're going places,
Yep.
athletes, different things that you really appreciated as you would be involved in athletics as you got into high school and everything. It just seemed like there were a lot of opportunities through the community that gave you exposure. And so we'll continue to talk about this. We have Jake Hedden on our show today, just talking a little bit about his life. And you're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. We'll be right back after this.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. We're back in business. We've been hearing from Jake Hedden, and I'm just really very honored that he's on my show today because all the wonderful stuff he does in the community now, and you all will get to know a little bit more about this as we continue to move forward. But just hearing about his story and his upbringing and some of the challenges that him and his family faced as he grew up, the escape that his academics provided for him, the escape that his friendship and his friend group provided for him, and his ability to really just get out and be free in the town of Crete and explore. It's just neat to hear about how we find ways to cope as we're going through these tough situations, right? And that's what I hear you saying, is that there were things for you to enjoy. You found happiness, you found joy in these things. And we all have those things that we find joy in, although it may be fleeting at times, but we have these really good, positive, fond memories. And so I appreciate you sharing that about your story. And, before we went to break, we're just kind of working our way through talking about what it was like to experience the challenges that he was experiencing as he went through this and find his way through it all. And so we're kind of back now. And what I want to hear about is talk to us about kind of that middle school to high school transition. You were talking a little bit about the expanded high school that Crete had at the time, which was like 7 to 12, right?
Yep, 7 to 12.
And just talk to us about actually getting into high school and, some of the other things that came along with that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think people will tell you that my teenage angst set in like a little bit earlier than probably normal once I started figuring out that I was a little bit different and just got angry, I guess. So middle school, yeah, I went to Crete Middle School. It was 7 through 12 at the high school. They were building the middle school, so then 8th grade over there, and then go back, a couple hundred yards back up to the high school. I really started, like, this is where my academics started to really slip.
I see.
This is where school was not, it just didn't become a priority. Like, I played football, I played basketball, I ran track. So my grades were good enough that I could compete, but I was not putting in the effort that I should have been.
I see.
And not an excuse, but when I think about homework, right? Get assigned homework. Well, when I go home, there wasn't anywhere to do homework. Or if there was an assignment that, we had to do some research on because the internet, like we didn't have the internet. We didn't have a computer that worked in a way to do any of that.
Yeah.
So school, like that part of it just kind of fell by the wayside for me. And just did enough to be able to have that escape of sports. Once I hit 14 though, it was okay, I can get a job.
Okay.
And for me, getting a job meant I can help mom pay the bills, and then we can stop moving. We don't have to go to the food pantry. We can actually go to the grocery store. We don't just get these predetermined things in a box,
right?
Given to us every week.
Yeah.
So started out as soon as I could. I walked in on my 14th birthday, and well, I guess it'd be the day after, and applied to work at Burger King.
Okay.
And so I've had a job every day except for maybe 2 weeks since I've been 14. I've always,
oh my goodness,
have always held something down
since you were 14.
Since I was 14, yeah.
And so again, as we kind of loop this back into the understanding for my audience, it was another opportunity to escape in a number of different ways. Number one, get out of the house, not necessarily have to worry about that, but also escape the challenges of poverty by being able to put additional funds into the family situation.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And then working at Burger King, like, you get to eat.
That's true. Yeah.
So, you go into work at 1 o'clock. Okay, I can eat lunch. Well, yeah, I'll stay as late as I can at 14 because then I can eat supper too, and then I don't have to worry about food.
Yeah.
No brainer. And you're going to pay me to do it? Absolutely. Sign me up every day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So did that for a while. I actually quit playing football my freshman year of high school so I could work.
I see.
So I could work more, which, hindsight, I wish I would have just found a way to make both work. But,
yeah,
bills were due. Dad wasn't around. Mom needed help.
Yeah.
Younger siblings. So.
And tell us, how did you navigate that situation of actually putting money into the family equation? Was it did you get paid today? And then, you have to turn it over to mom, or were you setting how much money you were going to allow to be put into the situation? How did that work?
No, I'd cash the check and money would, whatever we needed. And I mean, I had some spending money.
Okay.
It was never like, you're going to give me the money.
I see.
It was your money.
I see.
So just helped where I could, and at that time, I think about the first time I ever put a full tank of gas in my car.
Yeah.
Like, because then it was, you always put $20 in. Like, everything that you do was in increments of $20.
20. Gotcha.
And then I thought about, you go cash a check, or you go to, we used to have to hit that Red D cash over on Cornhusker Highway for the paycheck advance type thing.
Yeah.
It's always in 20s.
I see.
And so everything was in increments of 20, which was interesting
Yes.
once I had that realization. But yeah, so it was just helping. It was helping where I could. And mom, like I said, worked multiple jobs. She made sure, like, if there was an activity that we wanted to compete in, or taekwondo or Boy Scouts or like whatever it was, she found a way for us to do it.
I see.
It wasn't until I grew up that I really recognized or learned at what expense.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And again, there was a normalcy about it back then too. And so participating, even though, not at the level of a lot of other people, you're there, and they might have to help supplement some things, but you were there. So that's great to hear that you got a job. You're figuring out, okay, I can make money, I can generate some income here to help the family and everything else. You're participating in sports, and then that's at 14. And so talk to us a little bit about kind of your journey through high school and playing sports and how it all fits together and the other challenges that were presenting themselves.
Yeah. So that freshman year at Crete, I was a wildly small child, just like the runt. I was one of the younger ones in my class too. I have a summer birthday, July 4th. So it was like a weird age thing too. So I remember after my freshman year of basketball, the coach eighth grade year of basketball, sat us down and would tell us, like, he was real with us, yeah, you should play basketball. And he sat me down. He's like, you are all right at defense. If I tell you to get the ball, you'll go get the ball. You're going to foul doing it. But, and then he looked at me, he's like, have you ever considered wrestling? I was like, no, I'd never had.
Yeah.
So freshman year at Crete, we move away in March. We land over in Wilbur.
So you move in the middle of the school year?
In the middle of the school year.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is an interesting thing, especially when there's only like a month and a half left of school.
Right.
So, new kid at Wilbur. I don't know anybody. So I go out for the track team, find a job as soon as I get there.
Okay.
At the restaurant. And then started playing baseball and got to know some of the guys in Wilbur, had a little bit of a friend group, and all of them were wrestlers. So we go through football season at Wilbur. It was fine. And then I didn't know what I was going to do in the winter. And so that's where I got introduced to wrestling. And Coach Bates, really influential person in my life. He, come on out for the wrestling team. We need a 125 pounder.
So you were really small.
I was small. I was a small
125.
guy. Yeah. And I actually probably was weighing in at like 119, 120, but the 19 pounder was a stud. So I wasn't gonna wrestle off with there.
Yeah.
But I fell in love. So really, that really kind of became like a defining sport for me through high school was, I'll still play football and I'll still run track, but like running track is just to be in good shape for wrestling.
I see.
Going out for football is, well, what else am I going to do in the fall?
Yeah.
And there was still some anger that I had to be able to hit people.
Right.
So really fell in love with wrestling. And I think that was just another escape.
Yes.
Wrestling, you have to be at that point, there's a weird addiction to a little bit of suffering.
Yes.
So, we were still cutting weight back then, and it was going in early and running stairs or doing whatever. But then wrestling also gave me a lot of access to things that we didn't have at home.
Yeah.
So I think earlier I talked about a lot of times we didn't have hot water.
Yes.
Well, if I go work out at the school at 6 a.m. to run stairs and I work out until school starts, well, I got to take a shower. I'm not going to go all the way home. I'll just shower here.
Gotcha.
I'll shower after practice, things like that. And, when there's not food at home, cutting weight is not that hard to do.
Not that tough, right?
Yeah, there's not temptation.
That's right.
So wrestling was a big part for me in high school, and then did my sophomore year at Wilbur. Was really loving Wilbur. Really loved the coaching staff. Love Jamie Bates. I mean, I cannot say enough about him as a human, as a coach.
Right.
Good man. But then Mom said during the summer, we got to move. And we'd already moved into 2 different places in Wilbur. So we headed on over to Dorchester, Nebraska. And so transitioned from playing 11-man football to 8-man football, which was
even smaller community, right?
Even smaller. Yeah. So I went, from 120 something at Crete to 60 something at Wilbur. And then I land in Dorchester and I'm number 21.
Oh, wow.
In our class. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I asked, I was like, do they even have a wrestling program? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
right.
Their football field is an outfield of their baseball field.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know what to expect. So we moved to Dorchester and for me, I think that was like, it sucked at the time, but being in that really small, tight community, sometimes it's not fun when everybody knows your business.
Right.
But then when everybody knows your business and what's going on, that's when you really start to see people rally around you.
Yeah.
And so there were people there that, you know, knew I was not on a good path or a good track.
Yeah.
And they made sure that, like, you know, they knew I wasn't going to be able to go home and do my homework.
Yep.
They set aside time for me at school to go do my schoolwork, to make sure that I could keep my grades so that I could play sports or activities. I was involved in every activity I could be. So just making sure that I continue to be able to do those things. So high school, you know, that's really when things started to kind of shape up in our world. Our world at home really got rocked when we were in Wilbur. So my brother and I are both survivors of sexual abuse as kiddos. We had the same perpetrator. My brother, who's a few years younger than me, he disclosed his abuse almost immediately. Investigation launched, the whole thing, and he went to what was the Child Advocacy Center at the time and had a forensic interview and did all that. Whereas I did not talk about my abuse. I kept it secret because there was so much questions of, what are people going to think of me? Like, I've already got this chip on my shoulder trying to fit in where I don't fit in.
Yeah.
This isn't going to help the situation. So that, and being the oldest, once that happened and that came out, is when my mom's mental health really started to kind of take a hit. A lot of stress because you're, you know, going to therapy, courts, and wrestling with all of these, like, how could this happen? What did I do wrong? And you know, all of these things. So that's really when I just kind of started numbing, you know. So was out partying and doing all the naughty high school things that I shouldn't be doing, but still trying to keep that balance of, like, play sports, do activities, work, and then now kind of be the man of the house and take care, you know, protect my brother, protect my sister, whatever it is. So
wow. So just so many things that kept piling onto your plate, and trying to manage the move, trying to manage school, everything. I mean, as you talk about it, and for, you know, the listeners out there, you know, you think about all these challenging things that young people are going through, and the very fact that, you know, they may not necessarily have the support that they need in these times and these moments and these things that are happening to them. And then you think about, how do you reconcile all of that stuff that's going on at the age of, like, 16 or 50? You know, it's just like, it's so much. It's so heavy to hear you talk about it now. And I couldn't even imagine every day when you wake up and you kind of think about all these things that are happening in your life, and a lot of the things that you have no control over, and just those challenges that continue to present themselves, and getting through that. So how was it that you were able to get through that really challenging time with these things coming up within your family, the abuse, and then getting through those things? What was it? You talked a little bit about the support of the community. How did you get through that? How did your family get through that situation?
Yeah. I mean, me personally, had some really good just men in my life. So I had a teammate when I was in school, Greg Madsen. He was our neighbor for a little bit, and he was a pastor out at the Berean Church. Coach Bates, like I talked about.
And Coach Bates was from a different school, though?
He was from Wilbur.
From Wilbur, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I always kind of noticed when Dorchester and Wilbur were wrestling at the same meets, you know, he wasn't in my corner, but he was
in your corner.
He was nearby.
Yeah.
You know, he knew how I did,
awesome.
type thing, and would always talk to me. You know, my friends' parents, I think, knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So they kept me fed, kept me out of as much trouble as they could. A lot of it just, my mom never let me off of the path, even though my grades were slipping or whatever. It was still like, hey, junior year's around the corner. We got to figure out where you're going to college.
Wow.
Like it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like, I was going to college.
Yeah.
So I think that turned into me for, okay, I am going to go to college because I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I can't live this way. I've got to break this cycle, and I'm going to set out to be a cycle breaker. And so that's what drove me. I think that was probably similar for my siblings to get out and go find something different. For our family though, man, it was just my mom trying to keep it together as much as she could. And there were times it wasn't. There were times it was really, really terrible when we had, DHHS social workers in our house and telling us we got to do this and that, or, EBT only hits once a month or whatever it is. So there were times that it just wasn't held together. But she would try all the time and got us through it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, we'll talk more about that when we come back. Just the challenge of those consistent issues that are a problem for people as they're trying to navigate these extremely difficult situations and how they do that. And now you're in a position where you get to help people work through those things and be that supportive network. And so you're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have Jake Hedden on the show with me today, talking about some heavy things on here, but we're going to continue moving through this right when we get back on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back after this.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating
and Electrical.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're back. You're listening to The Law of Lift today, a show about inspirational people. And I have an inspirational person on the show with me today. Jake Hedden is here with me. And, you know, he's been telling us his story. And there's definitely been some challenging parts of his story, just listening to it. But what I've really heard from him is just the importance of resilience, the importance of having a community around you who can support you. Some things that have really stuck out from his story so far for me are the fact that it sounds like there was a lot of turbulence and a lot of things that were challenging in his life, but somehow, first and foremost, I think his mom was really trying to do the best that she could and support the family, but things, just like you said, they just didn't come together sometimes. And there were other people in your life that were able to step up and provide support and make sure that you and your siblings, got some of the things that you needed.
Yeah.
Education played such a major role in that. Coaching, having a purpose, whether it be your job or your sport that you were participating in or your social group. There's just all these different components, you all, that are so important in young people's lives. And when we talk about the importance of having an adult in your child's life that is a positive, supportive person, like a teammate, like a mentor, someone who can at least provide that young person with some stability and a different perspective, those things are so important. And I hear you talking about the importance of those things in your story as well. And just some of the challenging things that were happening too. And I think when, we hear about these issues that are happening in people's families, you all, like sexual abuse, like any kind of challenging issue where the Department of Health and Human Services has to step in, that's exceptionally disruptive to a family, and it creates a lot of issues. And so you talking about that, I really appreciate you being willing to talk about those things, especially considering the fact that you work where you work now and do so much to help so many people. And so I appreciate you going through that. And we're just at the point now where you're in high school, you're navigating all this stuff. You've moved to Dorchester, which I've heard has one paved road. And so you're in this very small town, class of 21, right?
21, yeah.
Man. And it's probably right around 2007-ish. And so talk to us as you kind of get through high school and then figure out what's going to be happening next.
Yeah. Man, 07 to 09 was an interesting, interesting point in my life. Being in those small towns, you get to do everything, right? You talk about multi-sport athletes. It's multi-activity. So I was involved in every sport that I could be. I was also played tuba in the band. I was in show choir.
Wow. Okay.
Choir,
very well-rounded.
FCA, all the things right, that you could have access to, which was really, is really great about those small town schools. But then, starting to think about, okay, what's next? Because at that point, Dorchester wasn't it.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. So continue getting through school and started thinking about, like, where am I going to head off to college?
Yeah.
Went and looked at Doane. I was too close to home.
Yeah, I was going to say that's in your backyard. Yeah.
Checked out York College, checked out Concordia. Just was not the right vibe. Took a visit to Peru State and said, that's where I'm going to go. So then really that senior year, about halfway through, when I decided that's where I was going to go, and like, hey, maybe I should take the ACT a little bit more seriously and not go party the night before,
right?
Like do the thing. So kind of got back into, I didn't necessarily hit the books hard, but took it a little more seriously. And I was a pretty quiet kid growing up. And then at Wilbur, I was kind of out there within my friend group. But when I landed in Dorchester, I was like, all right, I can be whoever I want to be, and I just don't care. So, I was class clown. I was in trouble a lot. So while I was like trying to go to college and getting ready to go to college, I was also getting suspended and saying wild things in class or getting in fights or just being a knucklehead, to the point where it got close. Like, hey, if you don't stop getting suspended, you don't get to graduate.
And we'll hear more about that at the top of next hour. Does he make it? Does he not make it? What a cliffhanger. We've got Jake Hedden on the show today. The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. We'll be right back after this.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back for the second hour. We have Jake Hedden in the studio with us today. And man, just he left us on a cliffhanger. He was in his senior year at Dorchester High School, and he was just really enjoying himself out there. He was just, he said being a class clown, saying whatever he wanted to say, doing whatever he wanted to do, and still having that pretty heavy expectation from his mom of, okay, and you're going to go to college, right? And so tell us about how you make it out of Dorchester High, and talk about that summer too after your senior year, because you did some interesting things there too, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the finish line at Dorchester was, I definitely stumbled through the finish line, if you will. So I should back up a little bit. Over the Christmas break, so, New Year's and whatever.
Yeah.
Middle of wrestling season. I had gotten I got an MIP, minor in consumption at the time. And then not even 24 hours later, I was like, okay, we're not drinking tonight. I'll go hunting with buddies. And we got popped for spotlighting and no fur burrs permit and the whole nine. So stupid decision at the time, I just didn't say anything, because I was like, well, if nobody knows, because it happened in Lincoln and the other one didn't happen in Saline County, if nobody knows, nobody asks, I'm not going to tell.
Right.
So I didn't. So I finished out my senior year wrestling season, and then they'd found out at the state wrestling tournament actually that this had happened, and so didn't get to run track and had to sit out a whole bunch of other stuff. So got probation for those incidents. And then started, I needed community service hours.
Yeah.
So I'd approached the youth wrestling coach, the club coach there, and asked if I could complete my community service hours helping out with youth wrestling.
Okay.
And he graciously let me do that, as I was trying to figure out how to be a better example for the kids I was coaching.
Yeah.
So we decided on our senior. Did you guys do senior skip day?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we did a senior skip day too.
Okay.
And we had our party broken up, and I got another MIP in March.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
So
this is all senior year.
This is all senior year. This is
wow.
from December 31 to like March 14th, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Is all this happens. So I'm not finishing senior year very well.
Yeah.
But somehow make it through, walk across the stage, get that diploma. That summer I spent working as usual. There was a city park and rec baseball. And so me and a couple buddies, we coached it was my brother's baseball team. So it was first and second graders.
Okay.
They needed coaches. They asked if we would volunteer coach, and they're like, oh, by the way, you have 4 kids out. So we spent like April recruiting first and second graders at Dorchester because it's a K through 12 school.
Okay.
So we'd go down and recruit kids to play on this baseball team.
First and second graders.
It was incredible. It was the most like bad news Bears thing that you'd ever seen. We won 1 game and it was in the tournament against Meridian. It was awesome. So doing that, and then my neighbor Tim, he raced out at McCool Junction, race cars. And so we'd go over and tinker on the car, and we'd kind of talked about wanting to, go try it out. My dad growing up, the side quest for my dad, he did like Evel Knievel stunt work. So he would like on a motorcycle, like jump over cars and like did a thing called a human road and would like land or aboard and get run over and help build monster trucks. And it was a whole, it was crazy. Yeah. So I had always kind of been interested in motorsports in a way. So my birthday, got home from work and there's a 77 Monte Carlo sitting in my driveway.
Oh my goodness.
And Tim had gifted it to me and my buddy Jordan. So we had a bunch of guys come over and we get this car running. It was the 2J car. And that summer we spent racing crazy cruisers out at McCool Junction. And so if you're not familiar with the crazy cruiser, you take the gas pedal and you extend that line over to where the passenger seat would be.
Yeah.
So I sat in the passenger seat, ran the gas. Jordan sat in the driver's seat and he did steering and brake. Wow. And our first night out, he apparently this is a common thing that happens. We didn't know it at the time, but you get that adrenaline going and you're tense and you hold your breath. And then at some point you run out of oxygen and you pass out. And so we went into the turn 2 wall super hard.
Oh my goodness.
Had to come out, cut the roof off, peel it back, pull us out, the whole 9.
Wow.
But our buddy Chuck, he had a welder, so he welded it up and we were back out there the next week. We finished top 10 in points and we were rookies of the year. It was awesome. Yeah. So that's how I spent my summer before I went to Peru State.
Oh my goodness.
Coaching baseball and racing cars.
That's honestly the first time I've ever heard of a crazy cruiser concept. Yeah. And I'm just trying to figure out who really runs that car? Because you're just, now granted, the person with the brake, they can stop you from the gas side of things, right? But you could still kind of keep going with the gas, and so, man, you guys had to have some pretty awesome chemistry, I would imagine.
Yeah, I wasn't alone when I was partying and getting in trouble. Yeah, I had a partner in crime, so
exactly.
we knew.
Thrill seeking, right?
Yeah, and we had a really fun group of guys that like our pit crew.
Yeah.
And we would all pile into a truck and we would listen to music on the way there. Too Much Time on Our Hands by Styx became like our anthem that we always had to listen to before a race. And then Tim, our neighbor, him and his son, Tim Jr., they also race crazy cruisers. So we had an actual like mechanic and somebody knew what was going on that always pitted next to us. So,
okay.
Yeah, it was just a good time to spend Saturday and Sunday evenings in the summer.
Man, that must have been just a very interesting set of memories from that summer. Yeah. Getting ready to pack up and head to Peru State College, right? And so you made it out of Dorchester. You made it across the threshold out of that school, and you did it in one piece, fortunately. It sounds like the law enforcement in the area was probably like, okay, he's gone, right? Yeah.
But one less heading to deal with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's interesting to think about, some of the other stuff that you were mentioning earlier on in your life, just the challenges and everything. And then there was a certain sense of freedom that you had when you got to that point of being a senior. And that freedom allowed you to become who you wanted to be and really kind of let your hair down, right? And just enjoy it as a kind of burgeoning adult. And so, when you think back on some of the things that you did and some of the challenging things you got into, How do you trace that in any way, shape, or form back to like your childhood and why you decided to kind of go in that direction, even though you had not done any of those things all the way up to that point?
Yeah. Generational trauma is like a really funny thing, right? So I really start to think back to, I don't know, you can always just trace it back to that generational cycle, I think. So, you know, to set the stage a little, my mom was adopted at a very young age. Two older parents, her adoptive father fought in World War II. He was born in 1920, so he was older.
Yeah.
She lost her adopted mom when my mom was 18.
Oh, wow.
So she kind of had to figure out motherhood.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, his biological father passed away when he was 4.
Oh, wow.
He watched his older brother die of leukemia at 14. His grandfather, Finus, passed away at 36. So like there's just been trauma around my family often. And there was a lot of like, you know, substance use, which led to abuse, and then like a lot of thrill seeking. So I kind of mentioned my dad doing the motorcycles and the cars.
Right. It doesn't sound as far-fetched when you mention that your dad, like Evel Knievel type stuff, and you're in this, you know, the crazy cruiser. Like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being, I was probably 7 or 8 at the time. And my dad was still kind of trying to make this stunt thing work. And we were out at, it wasn't Eagle, maybe we were at York, and we had these cars lined up and he was on his motorcycle and they were playing the final countdown, and then the lights go down and his best friend named Butch did this big witch cackle, and my dad had leathers on, like motorcycle leathers, and they put a tuxedo on. And so then Butch let out this witch cackle and then he lit my dad on fire.
Oh my goodness.
And then my dad takes off on the motorcycle and jumps over these cars. Like that was his idea of how to spend like a Saturday, Sunday night putting on a show. Yeah. But when I think about what he grew up with and what he went through, somewhat different than me.
Right.
But that cyclical generational trauma, like he was doing the same thing I was doing when I was out partying or joining the wrestling team, just looking for
an escape. Numbing the pain in a way too, right? Which substances eventually become a part of that journey as well.
100%.
So that's, you know, that's just for my listeners, you know, as you think about folks that experience a challenging upbringing and have some things that it's difficult to escape, there are other escapes that people find. We find ways to cope as human beings. We adapt. And I think that thrill seeking, that, you know, really falling into some of the heavy or substance use and just finding a way to say, I don't want to feel anything, you know, and I want to be able to escape this for a period of time, have some fun, enjoy, you know, this thing called life. And I think, you know, when we look back on things, it's just kind of like you connect the dots. It can be difficult, you know.
100%.
So no, I appreciate you talking about that. And so you get out of high school, you have this crazy summer, and then you end up in Peru, Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
And so tell us about college. You finally make it there. You fulfill this dream that your mom had. You get in, you're on your way. Then how does reality start to kind of hit you?
Yeah. I mean, freshman year was tough at Peru. I'd gone with a couple of high school buddies. They also went to Peru. And once you live with somebody, you know, it doesn't always work out. So kind of had a rough patch where I didn't have a home to go to because my family had up and moved to Johnson to be near me. And I ended up meeting this group of guys who we call ourselves the PBC.
Okay.
We were the Peru Brew Crew.
Okay.
So there's a group of 7 of us. We all lived in the basement of Delzell Hall, where there was 2 suites. So 4 of us lived in one and 3 in the other.
Okay.
And then I mean, just the greatest group of dudes. They all played football. So they talked to me and another buddy about walking on at the end of our freshman year. So we did that, and that being around those guys who grew up very differently than I did and learning what normal meant for us now. was really kind of a turning point for me, because middle of freshman year, I was like, this college thing ain't for me. Sorry, Mom, but I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I met those guys and they were like, dude, you got to come back. Like, you got to come play football with us. I was like, all right, like, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Which then in turn turned into like, hey man, like, come study with us. Hey man, why don't you come home with me for the weekend? Why don't you come do these other things?
Right.
And really just, those guys are still my absolute best friends. They were all groomsmen at my wedding. They still come and do life with us together frequently.
That's awesome.
So Peru was great. I originally went to Peru and thought I was going to be a teacher. Middle school history teacher, coach wrestling. And then I got into a classroom for about 2 hours and said, I'm out.
Okay. So you got all the way to the student teaching component?
No. It was like a go volunteer to read books on Dr. Seuss Day type thing. I was like,
you're
out.
like,
I'm
no,
out.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I changed my major to criminal justice.
Okay.
Criminal justice and psychology, and thought I wanted to be a lawyer. Thought I was going to go to law school, but really, like, the driving point for me was I saw what some of the curriculum was, and there was an opportunity to take an addictions class. There was an opportunity to take some trauma-informed classes. And so for me, it wasn't so much about seeking out a degree and going to like work in the space. It was, okay, I can get an education to figure out what's wrong with my family and why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
And if I have this knowledge, I can fix it.
Wow.
And so that really became the motivating factor to lean into not just coursework, but also different activities on campus. So we had a Rotaract. Are you familiar with Rotaract?
No.
It's college level Rotary.
Rotary.
Club.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So me and my group of buddies, we started that program. I became involved in our honors program for criminal justice and just really like poured myself into, I'm going to figure out what's wrong with my family.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to fix it.
I see. So your purpose that really started to take over in so many different ways to help drive your motivation to do the academic things, to try to get through this. And your main objective, your purpose was, I'm going to figure out what happened, why it happened, and try to make sure that it doesn't have to happen to other people.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And when we find that purpose, you all, and especially in college, which is such a unique developmental time, I really appreciate you talking about the PBC group, which I think is just so cool, that you all had a name for yourselves. But the fact that that group of guys helped to motivate you towards some really positive things.
Yeah.
They provided you with a community. They provided you with motivation to come back to school. You all, after that freshman year, that is honestly one of the toughest retention points for so many kids that go off to college, because that first year is just hard. It's a lot of transition and there's a lot of new things. And it's just so much easier to just stop and just stop all these new experiences, stop all the challenging stuff that's going on, stop the being away from home. And sometimes there can be some guilt coming from home because, well, gosh, you need to be back here helping us. And you're off at college, always spending money and, having all these experiences that nobody else is having, right? Like, it's just, there's so many things that happen that freshman year. And I think, from my time working as a VP for student affairs, one of the things I didn't realize was so powerful, and you talked about it today, was the importance of just having that core group of people that you're going to come back with.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if those guys had left, you would have been gone. There was no way you were going to come back if that group didn't come back.
Yep.
And so that core group of people that help you continue to see yourself at that institution, and they helped you with that purpose by saying, hey, come home with us. Again, you talked about having access and exposure to the normalcy in their lives and some of the different levels that they were living at from a socioeconomic perspective, and perhaps, even kind of pitching in and helping with some things around the suites and stuff like that, as you guys could do some things together. Football, I'm sure, was a major part of kind of coming back and having something to do because there's so much structure, right?
Yeah.
And that was
very short-lived, though. It was very short-lived football experience for me.
But the structure of sport, the structure of, being a part of a team, some of those things, it seems like you really decided that you were going to lean into the academic side of things with, and also, and this is another really important thing that I think sometimes people miss the mark on when it comes to, the university side. those extracurriculars are so important, especially in your major area where you were in that honor society. So that means that you were a shining star within the criminal justice side of things, the sociology piece, and you were able to really nurture that through likely going to conferences, presenting, connecting with professors who had research projects going on. I mean, they really, very similar to that enrichment program, right, that you were in when you started school out in Crete. They were pushing you to the next level, and they made you feel good about being high level and being advanced in that area.
And the beauty of doing that at a smaller school, right? So
yeah,
people knock Peru, they knock the state college system and whatever, I'll let them. But some of the folks that I talked to who maybe attended a bigger university, I don't know that they can say that like their professor stood up with them at their wedding.
Oh, wow.
Or that almost their entire faculty attended their wedding.
Yeah.
Like one of my professors, Danny. So we didn't call him Mr. Hayes. He was Danny.
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted to be. He made the centerpieces for our wedding.
Oh my goodness.
We just you have those relationships.
Yes.
And you continue to have those relationships where they, now that I connect with them professionally, it's how are the kids, and they know my kids.
Yes. And they know you, and they knew you, right? They cared if you didn't show up to class. Like there's a different sense of responsibility when you go to a small university and you have a small class and you know that you're one of maybe 15, 20, 30, whatever, in your major. When you don't show up to those higher level classes, the professors know. They might give you a call, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what happened? Like, what's going, So that care, that relationship building, and having them make the centerpiece at your wedding, that's really special. That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
So college in and of itself is an experience for you, and you really start to find your purpose. You start to dig in. It sounds like you do some introspection and start to learn in these classes. You're taking these psychology classes. You go through abnormal psychology. You learn what depression is. You learn what some of these things are, right? You start to hear these things. And do you finish at Peru State? Is that where you graduate from?
Yep. I graduated from Peru State.
Okay.
I thought I was going to go to law school.
Go to law school, yeah.
So in all of our mock trials, I was always the prosecutor.
Okay.
In our business law classes and things. And then Danny, there were three really influential professors, Dr. Osmussen, Danny Hayes, and then VJ Sharma. And they really helped me shape just how I feel and think and approach the world. And they'd asked me, hey, if you want to go to law school, like let's get you there.
Yeah.
But they asked me, have you ever considered forensic science? And I hadn't. And so Danny had gone through, and he brought me up for a visit. So at the time, Wesleyan still had their Masters of Forensic Science program.
Okay.
And so I kind of shifted things around my senior year and crammed in a bunch of biology and science classes. So shout out my buddy Seth Favre for helping me get through. He's a scientist, so helping me get through the science coursework.
That's awesome.
And I ended up landing at Wesleyan to do my forensic science behavioral track.
Wow. Master's program.
Okay. So I think back to 2009, a short 4 or 5 years before, like, hey, you might not walk across this stage.
Exactly.
Now you're going to go get a master's.
Wow.
So really kind of weird, surreal thing. And I should say along all this way, like I met my wife in college.
Okay.
And so she was along for that whole ride through the end of Peru, all through my master's, and then, to where.
And we'll talk more about her when we come back from this, but man, having a great conversation with Jake Hedden. And we'll talk more about his choice of career when we come back. You're listening to Law of Lift on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We are back. And, man, it just keeps getting more and more interesting with Jake. And it's awesome that he's been in here talking about his story and his journey, because he has such a unique position now and the work that he does. And we're going to get a little bit more into that and kind of that path to purpose, that path and that purpose that he has and how he got there. But right now, we're just kind of getting out of college. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you were interested in law school, but, you know, at some point forensics becomes a part of the equation, and your professors likely helped you to move in that direction, and you go to Wesleyan, and more importantly than that, you left college with a diploma and also someone really special in your life, right?
Oh yeah.
So give you an opportunity now just to kind of, heap some praise upon your wonderful wife.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, no, she is a rock star. So Natasha, met her in college, met her out at the old Playmore Ballroom swing dancing.
Oh, wow. On a Sunday?
On a Sunday night.
Oh my goodness.
Sandy
Okay.
Creek was playing. It was rocking. She needed a dance partner. I said, I can kind of do that. So that's how it all happened.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, she's great. Mother of our kids. I think I told you I got 5 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So she's doing that. She's a pediatric nurse practitioner in town. She keeps the house going, allows me to go do all my crazy side quest adventures all the time. And she's really great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you met her in college, and how long have you been married now?
We got married in 2015. So we started dating 2010, married in 15.
Okay.
So just celebrated our 10-year anniversary on October 3rd.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so, you talk about, and it was just kind of really this picture you painted for me of having such a great relationship with one of your faculty members at Peru that they made the centerpieces for your wedding. So I figure it must have been a wedding that he knew, a lot of people there. The crew was there, the PBC was there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
full force.
Just all the cool things that kind of come together with that. And you're off at Wesleyan getting a master's, and talk to us a little bit about kind of your continued development through that process, some of the internships that you did while you were in that program.
Yeah. So when I came to Lincoln to go to Wesleyan, it was a forensic science program, and there were 3 paths. There was a behavioral track, so psychology. Then there was like a investigative track, so a lot of people in there wanted to go federal investigations. And then there was your like forensic sciences, so we kind of the lab rats. They wanted to do the chemistry stuff and work in crime scene labs. So I elected to go the behavioral track because fascinated by serial killers and cults and threat assessment and all those things. Just really I'd found an interest in at Peru. And so while I was there, because it's not a full-time program.
I see.
Well, it's not a program anymore, but it wasn't a full-time program at the time. It was a Friday night and then all day Saturday every other week for 2.5 years. So while I was doing that, I was employed down at Lancaster County Court as a bailiff, and doing some other stuff in the courts process and working with the attorneys and the public and all those things. So Wesleyan was a really interesting program because they brought in folks from, like, one of our professors was a federal judge up in Omaha.
Oh wow.
Or we had a forensic psychologist taught some of our classes. We had someone from the Nebraska State Patrol that they would come in and teach these courses. Part of that, you were required to do 2 internships. And the first internship that everybody is required to do is go to a medical examiner's office. So I elected to go to Aurora, Colorado. We were right next to the Broncos training facility, which was super awesome. And our classmates who we were talking to, they were in like Miami-Dade. Some of them were in Vegas. So you would go out to these scenes, and you would, do some of the evidence collection or body collection too.
Yeah.
But then our classmates, they stood behind the glass and watched them do the autopsies.
Wow.
In Aurora, they showed you how to do it the first day. And then the next day you put on the full PPE and they say, here's the tools. You're helping do the autopsy now. So for 2 weeks,
Oh my goodness.
we were doing full autopsies, and I very quickly decided that's not what I want to do with my life at all.
Okay. So okay, we got to dig into that just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So what was it about it that you were just like totally turned off by that part? I mean, because the interesting part is that for the medical examiner's component, is that a medical professional that does that,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
But
Out
you
there,
had
yes.
to help though.
Right.
Man.
So for me, growing up with a lot of trauma,
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
trauma you get really desensitized to things. So when I'm out on the death scene,
Right.
and you're out in what is normal land, whatever, you know,
Yep.
I can see that. I could be around it and it didn't really bother me.
I see.
Now you go back to the ME's office and now everything is very clean and very sterile and very
Yes.
well lit and very controlled.
Right.
And it, like, that just was not the arena that I wanted to do this work in. So
I see.
So many kudos to the folks that can do that incredibly important work, because I'm not the guy.
Gotcha.
Not the guy.
Gotcha. That is so interesting because, you know, thinking deeper into that, it's almost like this, the hunger for the dysfunctional and the fact that you can survive that because it feels normal.
Yep.
But the sterility and the cleansiness, if you will, of the structured space where the autopsy was happening, that was just too much for you. It was like,
yeah,
this is, you just couldn't do it. And so that's such an interesting concept, because I know that being in the courtroom and all the things that you did, right?
Yeah.
Like there's all these areas where you see people who are experiencing the dysfunction, who are going through these challenging times, and you see them in some of their toughest days.
Mhm.
And for some reason you were comfortable with that.
They were relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were super relatable, and I could, you know, if it
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't like I'd been in the courtroom,
Right.
and if it wasn't me, like someone in my family had, or I'd interacted with social workers, I'd been around attorneys, like those were my people, if you will.
Yes.
That's what I was used to. So then you put me in a room with a MD level medical examiner, and I'm like, nah, this ain't me.
Yeah, that's such an interesting concept. And so you had a few different experiences, and there was something you mentioned to us over the break, that there was definitely a mass shooting that happened in Aurora, Colorado. And so talk to us a little bit about that experience and what that was like for you to be close to that.
Yeah. So while we were out there doing that internship, that medical examiner's office was the one that had the bodies come in from that the Batman theater shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And so while we were there, the the medical examiner had to go testify in the trial going on.
Wow.
And so she had told us the day before, she's like, hey, did you guys bring like court appropriate attire? And we said, yeah. She's like, okay, we'll wear it tomorrow because I have to testify. You're going to come with me.
Oh my god.
And we didn't know what we were going to, like, you know,
Right.
we weren't in tune with the local news in that sense, and national news at that point. We were just kind of like, we're doing autopsies. I don't have time to log into whatever.
Right.
So we go and we're sitting, I don't know, 6 feet away from the shooter at this trial.
Oh my
and
goodness.
the craziest thing is, so the jurors took a break and they came back in, and the judge had to like reprimand and scold a woman for falling asleep during testimony. Like,
Oh wow.
trial of the century.
Right.
And she's taking a snooze.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
it was a pretty wild Tuesday.
That sounds like a wow. I mean, and just all the things that you must have had to listen to that medical examiner talk about the condition of the bodies that came in, and all the horror and the gore and everything else that had happened as a result of that.
Right.
And, you know, not to get on in any way, shape, or form a political soapbox here, but you all, and this has happened time and time again in our society since then,
Mhm.
right? And it's been one of those, like you said, at the time, it was just such a significant thing. I don't know what the numbers were, but was it in the 40s or something?
I think there was 12 killed.
12 killed, but
Mhm.
so many injuries,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Because
so
you're in
many.
a dark theater. It's like the opening night of
Pandemonium.
this, and
Yep.
it was just like rapid gunfire, like, you know, semi-automatic.
It
So-
was definitely interesting to see like that other side of it. When you talk about perspective, right? You
Yes.
don't think about the medical examiners, that
Not at
Barton
all.
Retriever, the person
Right.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
was-
that's just, I mean, and again, this is you in the space of learning more about this potential career that you're going into and having to determine, is this something I want to deal with on a consistent basis? Like, right.
Right.
And so what a unique experience though, for
Yeah.
you to be in that space. And so that was one of the internships that you did there. And then you came back to Lincoln to work in the city attorney's office, or the
Public defender's
defender.
office,
Okay.
yeah. So through my time as a bailiff, I got to know some of the public defenders. They're all incredible people. And I learned that they had investigators. And I was not like super keen on like I didn't want to work in the law enforcement realm. So I was like, well, I could go like try to get an internship at LPD, but what is that? Where does that move the needle for me?
Yeah.
And I was really passionate about some social justice issues and other things. And so like public defender's office made sense for me.
Okay.
So I go over there and I'm working as an intern investigator. And we have this case where there was a domestic violence incident that occurred. And so the client had said, hey man, like this wasn't me. So we, as the investigators, we get assigned this question or this investigative file, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we go out, we set up an interview with this woman who was the accuser or the victim in this case. And we're sitting over at this apartment in Belmont, and the lead investigator is interviewing her. And there's this kiddo, maybe 5 or 6, kind of messing around and kind of being disruptive. And so I wasn't really doing anything but listening. So I just got down on the floor and started playing with him, and then started just like asking questions, about dad or mom or what other things you like to do. I didn't realize I was interviewing this kid. But then it ended up, he had said, it wasn't my dad that hurt mom. It was her boyfriend, whoever else. So that
very important information.
Very
right?
important information. Yeah. So that happens kind of midweek. While I'm a bailiff, I also get called to this jury trial, and it ended up being a sexual assault of a child trial. And given that I was doing my master's and I was doing it in forensic science, and that I was a survivor, and that my cousin was in the jury pool as well, I thought for sure I was going to get kicked off this jury, and I did not. So I sat on that jury that Thursday, Friday, and then that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, my class at Wesleyan was interviewing child victims and witnesses.
Oh my goodness.
So all of this realm of kids and talking to kids and interviews all kind of happened at the same time. And I show up to the public defender's office the next week, and this is when there were still like paper applications. He had printed it off to the Child Advocacy Center, and he'd tossed it down on the desk and said, hey, I already told Lynn, who's the executive director, that you're applying to be a forensic interviewer.
Wow.
This is due by Friday, so you're going to apply.
Wow. Wow.
So,
I mean, everything just kind of fell into place, and that's just the way that life goes sometimes, right? All these different things. And so we'll finish up with Jake Hedden when we get back from this, but we just really, truly appreciate your openness today and being willing to talk through these things. And it's been so awesome to have you, but we'll finish up after this. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Man, it is so crazy how quickly time goes by, especially when you're listening to a very interesting story like Jake's. And we've had Jake Hedden in the studio today, currently works at Brave Bee here in Lincoln, and has just, you know, again, someone that I really respect, who does a lot to help support families and young people, especially while they're going through some of these challenging things. And as he's talked to us about his life today, man, it's been such a journey, and just talking about his purpose and helping people and everything else. And so, you know, Jake, I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk more about what Brave Bee does and just tell our listeners about, you know, what that organization does here in Lincoln, what it means to Lincoln, and how your role at Brave Bee works.
Yeah. So I've been at Brave Bee for the last 9 going on 10 years now. I've held a multitude of positions there. Started out as a forensic interviewer. Brave Bee is a local nonprofit that we serve 17 counties in southeast Nebraska, and we are working with kiddos and families who have witnessed or been victims of various types of crime. Primarily, we're working with families whose kiddos have been sexually abused, and we do that through a few different services. So kind of our core services is our forensic interviews, where we're sitting with the kids and asking them, hey, what happened?
Yeah.
In a kid-friendly environment. So we work closely with law enforcement, HHS, county attorneys, in assisting with their investigations in that capacity. Then we have our advocacy, our child and family advocates, who are the definition of real-life superheroes. They are sitting with those families and those kiddos and making sure that they are aware of any resources that they might need, connecting them with that. They go to the court hearings with them, and they help make sense of what all the legal jargon is. We have our medical program. So we have top-notch medical providers who are head-to-toe exams, but really sitting in that space with the kiddos who are going to have really big questions after they've been sexually abused.
Yeah.
and they sit with them and they talk to them about their body and they answer those questions and they let them know, hey, it's normal to be normal. We have our case coordinators who are reading child abuse and neglect intakes and making sure that kiddos and families don't fall through the cracks and they are getting the services and resources that they need. Just an incredible team at Brave Bee, and everybody has their role to make sure that these kiddos and families are supported throughout the entire process. So currently I'm working as the donor engagement officer. I stepped out of the direct service role 2 years ago now. So out meeting with donors, talking about our mission, asking for donations.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a really special place that not a lot of people know about, which is a really great problem to have, because that means that you haven't had to utilize our services, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for our community to know that we do exist.
Absolutely.
Statistics nationally, there's 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys who will be sexually abused by their 18th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So it's not there's somebody in your life that has experienced, maybe they haven't been victimized themselves, but they might have witnessed something, or they know somebody that has. Like, it is a far-reaching issue that we just don't talk about enough because it's still such a taboo topic.
Absolutely.
So we're that place where we can talk about those things. We have a really robust training program that's going out and saying, what are the signs of abuse and what do you do when you see something that's happened? We also have a really awesome, it's called Brave Faces, or Brave Faces initiative, where we lean into adverse childhood experiences, and we're talking about generational trauma. And so working to help equip people to recognize that generational trauma that maybe they've experienced, but then also to become the cycle breaker, and giving them the tools and knowledge to support their kiddos, their families, so that they don't have to experience some of those ACEs.
That's amazing. And for folks that, want to look you all up online, what's the website that they could go to learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to www.bravebee.org.
Okay.
We're all over social media. We have a facility dog named Evie. She's got her own Instagram page that's worth a follow there as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, the services that Brave Bee provides to Lincoln and surrounding areas are just amazing. And as you talk through your story and you told us a little bit about your journey and everything that you experienced over the course of your life, and the kind of purpose that drew you into college, the purpose that drew you into your master's program and into the industry. It's so amazing that you're doing this work now and you're helping raise funds to make sure that other people get the supports that, you needed, right?
Yeah. When I think about how this came so full circle is, I remember when my brother disclosed his abuse, and he had a forensic interview at what was Brave Bee was then the Child Advocacy Center at a little yellow house in Antelope Park. And I remember being a teenager and sitting on the floor at a kid's table in that little yellow house, writing a victim impact statement as his brother.
Yeah.
And supporting him in that way. So for this to come full circle, and for me to, land at Brave Bee and be given the opportunity by the incredible team there to come do this work every day in various capacities.
Yes.
And then, have the support that I had when I decided to disclose my abuse. And
right.
They helped me put together a training on male victimization. So I get to go out and talk to groups about what does that mean?
Right.
When we have a dude that has disclosed abuse and fight that stigma. Just really, it's a wild thing that I was fortunate enough to land back in that building, and really just take the approach that I have the opportunity to be who I needed.
Yeah.
When I was a kiddo, and I am very, very fortunate to be able to be given that opportunity.
That's so amazing to hear. And we really appreciate what you do. We appreciate what that organization does. And I just appreciate your willingness to come on the show today and talk to us about this journey that you've been on and continue to be on. And there's so much more I know that you'll continue to do. with 5 kids.
5 kids.
Raising those kids
Yeah.
and all the different things that you're doing right now. Just to finish up, do you have any shout outs that you want to send? Just people who have been influential in your life and people who are important to you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to shout out my wife for sure, Natasha. Those boys at PBC, those Peru guys, they keep me going, and Peru faculty. And then shout out to all the dads and the athletes over at Team Agoge Wrestling. We're doing a lot of really good stuff over there. And then my disc golf friends. Those disc golfers are a great community too. If you need to get out and throw some frisbees, Lincoln's got a really great crew to go escape with. So lots of really good people around.
Awesome. Well, you guys, you've been hearing from Jake Hedden today, just a development guy over at Brave Bee, but has such a unique story that has been full circle. And it's just been so awesome to have him on the show today. And as I always say to you all, I hope you have the opportunity to lift off. I hope this story today has inspired you and just giving you some inspiration and motivation to keep going. Happy 2026. First show of 2026 is in the books. You've been listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket. See you next week.